Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Chit Chat Podcast. This is episode 6 with my friend Ron Paulson. We just got done recording. Ron is such a dear friend and colleague. And so today we just got to talk about how we kind of became friends, what it's like to seek advice from other creatives and other people in your industry, and just some of the things that we love about St. Cloud. It was a really fun conversation with a guy I care a whole bunch about. So I'm excited for you to hear it. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate it. Mr. Ron Paulson, thanks for coming on and joining the Chit Chat Podcast.
Thank you for asking, Gaetano.
Yeah, great to have you here.
This is a joy.
Well, thanks for coming. Ron, as we get going today, I'm going to pour us a little cup of coffee. I know that your favorite is just black coffee, just kind of no frou-frou, but then you add a little bit of heavy cream. True, false?
You're halfway there.
What is it?
Yeah. So black.
Okay.
Heavy cream.
Yep.
Where you messed up
Okay.
was the little bit of heavy cream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You like a lot of heavy cream?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, today we're drinking a coffee from Costa Rica. And
This is exciting.
a little bit citrusy, a little bit raspberry-y. And today I'm going to join you. I don't usually add heavy cream with my coffee, but today we're going to do that too a little
Okay.
bit.
Well, then I'm waiting for you before
I think there isn't a lot in the world that's prettier than the way that the coffee and the cream kind of mix when you pour them in like that. Cheers, Ron. Thanks for coming to the podcast.
That needs a close-up. Thank you for asking.
Okay, so Ron, would you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us who you are, how long have you been in the St. Cloud area, and what do you do?
I'm Ron Paulson. I've lived in St. Cloud since '89.
All right.
I haven't said 89 in a long time.
All right.
It's a long time. Was relocated here for my job at that time, and I was working for, it was Skoglund Outdoor Advertising. Now it's Lamar. That's it.
So you moved here for a job.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
the sales manager and myself. And I was marketing support at that time, and been here ever since. And fast forward now, I'm an account executive at Wrangle Printing, about a mile behind me,
Yeah.
roughly. Loving every minute of it.
Wonderful. That's great. And so you've been in the St. Cloud area since 1989. I was born in 85, just for like a frame of reference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Would you just maybe tell me a little bit more about, you said you're currently working at Wrangle. Tell me a little bit more about what you're doing there and what's special, what's different maybe about Wrangle?
The first thing that I think of is, I'll say someone named Sky Bagel. That's the office dog.
Sky Bagel.
I said someone because she's just got this personality that's amazing. And she warms up the place. Unless she doesn't like you, and then she'll bark the roof off.
Okay.
And that's pretty fun too.
And does everyone call her Sky Bagel? Or do you call her
Until
Sky?
you get to know her really well, and then it's just, hey, Sky.
All right.
Or Sky, settle down.
Yeah.
Or Sky, shut up. That happens here and there. Yeah.
Great. Okay, so that's
And what I do-
is that what's special about Wrangle? Sky Bagel is what's special about Wrangle?
That's one of the things.
Okay, that's good.
The team is awesome. The people are awesome. A lot of companies talk about having a fat family atmosphere. They really do. And that's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And what I do is help everybody figure out everything from business cards to direct mail to branding to everything in between.
With printed pieces and
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And tying that into some digital solutions as well.
All right.
So-
And does Wrangle do digital?
Well, so when I say tying it in, you might get a customer that is wondering, what could they do differently to tie into those things. to follow through the sales funnel and that sort of thing, so I can make recommendations based on past experience.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's great.
it's fun.
So, Ron, I see you have a great little watch on over there. What are you wearing?
So you pronounced it correctly, Tissot,
Tissot, that's right.
and it's just a beautiful watch. And it's actually my son's.
Okay.
So shout out to Ben.
What up, Ben?
For
Hey.
letting me do this. We borrow each other's clothing more than he would like.
Great. That's great.
But it's back and forth.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
That's great. Does he know that you currently have his Tissot on right now?
No.
No. That's great.
Which is also part of the fun.
My first kind of real watch
Yeah.
that I ever bought was a Tissot. And there's something fun about, like, are you into watches at all? Have you kind of like dove into like the watch
Not
world?
whatsoever. So when
Okay.
you said that, I was really interested. What's the background?
Sure.
How did you hear about it?
Right. So the watch world is really, really big. There's lots of incredible, big, fancy companies, and you can spend just absolute gobs of money on watches, and just to kind of try to like fit in and be cool. And I think one of the things that's incredible about like the real kind of like watch culture, the people that love horology, the study and love of watches, is that you don't actually need to spend a lot of money to like impress those people. They love story and they love craft and quality. And there are a couple of brands that make really, really great watches that are kind of like, they're respected by the watch world that aren't really, really expensive. And Tissot is one of those watch brands where if you're wearing a Tissot and you show up at a watch convention and you have this really fun, great Tissot on that you think is great and cool, like people will respect you for that
You're
watch.
not kicked out
You're not kicked out.
of the watch convention.
And, you can spend, just a few $100s and get a really, really sharp watch. Hamilton, have you ever heard of a company called Hamilton?
No.
Hamilton is
I'm
another.
so illiterate in the watch conversation, so this is fun.
Hamilton is just another company that, their average watch, is probably in that maybe like $400 or $500 range. And I would say that most like big time watch people, they probably either currently own a Hamilton or at some point have owned a Hamilton, just because it's like this storied, incredible company. It's originally an American company, and then like all serious watch companies, you kind of need to end up in Switzerland, with a few exceptions. Japanese watch lovers, chill out. I also enjoy a good Japanese watch, but yeah, there's the Swiss watch thing is kind of a big deal, and like kids in Switzerland, like it's like a real profession. Like I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna work in watches. I'm gonna repair and fix watches. I'm gonna build watches. It's like a real career that is loved in Switzerland, and so there's just a culture of time and
Had absolutely no idea.
Anyway, so Hamilton, they're now there, but Hamilton, Tissot, these are just some of these companies that they're just respected watch brands that are not kind of inaccessible. Since we're talking about it, today I have on an Omega. This Omega is like you can look up by the serial number. This watch is from 1966, and it's called a DeVille. And the deeper I've gone in watches, the like older my taste has come, and the smaller my tastes have come. And so like a lot of the kind of the modern watch thing, the watches are pretty big, and I love these elegant.
It's not your aesthetic.
No,
Yeah.
These kind of like classic, little more elegant watches. So this is just a tiny little DeVille. And Brian Woolman, former podcast guest, Brian Woolman, I once shared with him, I showed him a picture of this DeVille that I wanted. I said, someday I'd really love to, if I could find that DeVille. And I don't even know if we touched this on the podcast. Brian is an absolute pawn shop junkie. Do you know this about Brian?
Did not know that.
Yeah, he's an absolute pawn shop junkie. And he's calling me, like frantically calling me over and over again. And I see these missed calls and I call him back. I was like, what's going on? And he's like, I found your watch. And I was like, what watch? He's like, the DeVille you wanted. And I was like, what? And he like remembered.
I was going to say, number one, he remembered the conversation.
Right? And so sure enough, I end up at a pawn shop. And here, a guy had just brought in this 1966 Omega DeVille, and I thought it worked. I wound it, and it was ticking and looking great. But rookie mistake. I was still kind of new to watches. This kind of felt a little bit like a Grail watch, like one that was coming. And it just happened sooner than I thought. I didn't know how to buy a used watch. And I didn't watch it for very long. And the minute hand didn't move. The second hand went around, but the minute hand didn't advance. And so, I got a decent deal because it was at a pawn shop. But then I needed to repair this watch. And if you've never tried to repair a watch in 2024 or 2023, whatever that was, that's from 1966. Like it's not easy because we don't really have a culture of like watch repair and stuff here. So finding someone who can actually repair it is hard. And I found this incredible old man. You would have loved this guy. I'm gonna forget his name. This is bad. Sweet old guy, probably pushing 90 years old.
Where?
In Minneapolis.
Okay.
I called a phone number that I found online, and that guy was like, "Oh yeah, no, we don't do any watch repair anymore. You need to talk to so-and-so." And so I called them, and they were like, "No, we stopped repairing watches a long time ago. You got to call so-and-so." And like just bing, 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 bing. I'm getting bounced around these different places to like repair this old watch. And finally someone was like, I think there's just like one guy who will do it. And so I finally got a hold of this guy, and his hands shake. Like he's an old man.
And you're thinking, this is not good for a watch repair
But
guy.
kind of like, I don't know if you saw it in Toy Story. In Toy Story, the guy who's painting, he's got the little hand and shake, but then like he's steady and true when he's doing his thing. This was that kind of thing. This incredible shop, and just like old beat up watches everywhere in his little station. It was awesome. I'd like to photograph him. At some point, I'd like to actually try to figure out how to shoot a little video of him or something. Anyway, we're talking a long time about watches. Ron, I'm sorry, but that's a sharp looking watch. I like it. Go to So. Also, big NBA guy. This is the official watch of the NBA. Now you know all the
I'm
things
learning
about this.
so much. Had no idea
Yeah, there you go.
I would learn that much about
A lot
watches.
of that's going to get cut, just FYI.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's great. Ron, I think one of the, when we were thinking about like, who could we have on the podcast? Some of the thoughts were like people who we've worked with. Some of it was like friends. Some of it was, somebody who's like doing something cool in our community, or, people that are maybe new to our community and like, what do they think of our community? We were just like kind of thinking about all of these different kinds of people that we could have on. And your name quickly came up just because of our relationship and our friendship. And I think kind of the way that we got to know each other. I think it would just be fun. Could we just touch on how we actually know each other? Because I've actually known you since I think the first time we met, I was a boy, I think. Because I sang in the St. John's Boys Choir, and your son, Ben, who you have stolen a watch from, along with a myriad of other garments of clothing.
Absolutely. All the good stuff.
Yeah, we sang in the boys' choir
Yeah.
together. And so I've known you since a little boy, and then just as our life, as over the course of the last 25 plus years or so, our paths have just crossed in a bunch of ways. But yeah, here's the thing. I'm new to this. How do I pivot? This is the thing I'm learning. Maybe this could even stay in the podcast. I don't know. But like, how do we,
I like the raw authenticity.
It's great. It's great because it's all there is.
That's what
Because
there is.
I'm new to this.
I'm going to help you out here.
That's great.
I kept thinking of the ski trip that I chaperoned.
I love that. I was in 9th grade.
You remember it. And who drove the bus?
My dad drove the bus. Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
It was really, really cool.
Wild Mountain. And it was just a great time.
Yeah.
Beautiful day. That's one of the memories.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you remember what
all you
happened?
squirrely kids
Oh, yeah.
on this bus
Yeah.
going
Brave
skiing.
brother Paul. Brave brother
Very
Paul.
brave brother Paul. Oh my goodness. How did he do that? Yeah. So that's one early memory that came to mind.
Yeah.
And that bus was packed too.
Yep. I used to ask my dad. Brother Paul would goat me. Like I would sit right behind my dad, and Brother Paul would goat me into like like razzing my dad a little bit. He just got like such a kick out of it. And I would ask him these questions just because it just tickled Brother Paul to death. And I would say things like, because these were like real questions when I was a kid, like thinking, Dad, if you were driving 60 miles an hour like you're doing right now and you just threw it into reverse, what would happen? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so like, but I would do that now on the bus.
So every kid wonders about those kinds of things too.
But like I had Brother Paul, who I adore and adored, just like goading me until I get him, ask him more questions.
Yeah.
So bus trips like that.
So here's, I'm going to jump back to what I enjoy about Wrangle. Every week, it's a little bit like Old Home Week. So I had Brother Paul in maybe a month ago.
Okay. Wait, you had Brother Paul into Wrangle?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Brother Paul Richards, hello. You'll never see this video, but hello.
Who knows? Who knows?
He would be dead.
But he is a mentor to a program called, it's the BVC program. What does it stand for?
The Benedictine Volunteer Corps.
Thank you.
We've done some work for them.
Yes. Yeah. And so we did some printing for them and helped them with a book. And got to chat with Brother Paul and his student assistant. And that was just a joy to see him again. And the amazing thing about Brother Paul is he never changes.
Never. Yeah.
Same sparkling personality and sarcastic wit.
Yeah.
And all of that good fun stuff.
Yeah.
And it was like, and then he remembers. You think of all the families, dads, sons, moms, whatever, that have passed through that program. And he remembered me. He remembered Ben's name, and without prompting. And that's what makes that program still so special. So
isn't that an incredible thing?
It
like
is.
Even just like, I think in general, like customer, like just inside of kind of the customer service, not that like leading a choir is, I don't know if people would think about the direct tie to customer service, but obviously, you know, like he's selling a product or was, you know, years and years ago. But, you know, in customer service, just like remembering small things about people can go such a long way. I think so many people, you know, they spend a lot of their life kind of not being remembered, you know? And so just to remember something small about someone is, I think this is a really, really special thing. And then especially when you remember big things, names and things from a long time ago, that goes a long way to help, like kind of making someone feel special, I think.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And it shows your sincerity
Yeah.
and whether that relationship is really real or not. And that's just a beautiful thing when it happens.
Yeah. Okay, so Ron, we are enjoying our first flight in our little coffee tour here. We're getting ready next. Taylor is going to bring in kind of our second course of coffee. This is an iced vanilla latte. Almost like the entree of our little conversation today. But yeah, this is made with a Colombian espresso and a little hint of vanilla in there too. How do you feel about
If I would have asked for something specific other than black heavy cream, this would have been it.
Oh, wow. Good.
Probably. Yeah. Anything with vanilla.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
My day-to-day morning go-to, though, is what I just had.
Wonderful.
Okay, here goes.
I kind of like my sweet drinks a little even like less sweet. If they get super, super, super sugary and sweet, like you get a little bit of that like cloyy kind of flavor and taste. And so I like a little bit more subtle sweet drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's light. I like that.
Yeah.
Not syrupy heavy.
It's great.
Right?
Good. All right.
Very good.
So Ron, you have been in St. Cloud for a while, you know, and you've worked in different capacities. I've known you in so many of those capacities. What do you think some of the strongest kind of characteristics or traits of our community are? What do you love about this place, St. Cloud, and the business community here?
The first thing I think of is just that tight-knit community, the heritage. And that's still here in many ways. it's grown as well. But the older I get living in this community, and I touched on it, talking about Old Home Week at Ringel, so many overlaps. Now, granted, much of my involvement has been in marketing and printing and this, that, or the other thing.
Yeah.
Working with a lot of folks over the years, but it is tight knit. And there are a lot of good people here, good organizations that make it run.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's incredible. So Switchboard, our company, we are at like 8.5 years. This summer will be 9 years. And in one regard, it feels like almost an eternity. You know, it's like, it's so much time. And like, sometimes I'm even a little baffled that like, it's still going. You know, it's not easy to run a business. And Wrangell is over 100 years old in one community, one family continuing to run a business. I think that is absolutely remarkable. What's it like to go to work and kind of like work inside of that kind of like history and tradition?
The first face that comes to mind when you ask that question is D. Wrangell. And
Hi, D.
Oh, amazing energy. Still has it. Yeah, she just makes it a joy to be there. She's the face of the place, has been, always will be.
Yeah.
She'll greet you at the door right now, and get your job taken care of and started. There are others, of course, but her energy is still there, and she's awesome. Yeah. Everybody has a D story.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
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 You can't work your whole career in a small community like this, doing that kind of work that faithfully without having, I think, some sort of relationship or interaction.
Which makes me think next of her community involvement and the giving back. And that's the key to Wrangell's longevity, I think, is giving, supporting so many nonprofits, so many other good organizations. And they love doing it, and it shows, and it's real. So that gets back to your first question about what do I love about being there, you know, and that's part of it. We get behind a lot of great programs, and that's very rewarding.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the age of Switchboard, I thought you were going to segue to something else.
Which was
A
what?
conversation from, did you say 8.5 years?
8.5 years. Well,
Okay.
Yeah, pushing 9 years this
Yeah.
summer.
So we sat on the 700 block of St. Germain.
We did.
And you asked me a question.
Do you remember the question?
Is there room for another agency in town? And what did I say? Because I'm not sure. No, I do remember.
I don't know. I don't remember what you said. I remember the tone and tenor of that conversation, but I don't know if I remember specifically. But I remember feeling like I remember feeling supported. I remember feeling like I was talking to a friend and someone that like cared for me and was even kind of like rooting for me, which, yeah, I want more of that in our community. I'd like to be kind of a part of that thing. I think you have just the way that you kind of even embraced and supported me as I started Switchboard has kind of been a standard for me of just like, how do I engage in our creative community here with different agencies and different creatives in a way that's really open-handed and really, I think, kind of like friendly and yeah, I don't know. So the tone and tenor of how Switchboard started with, in part, I mean, with that conversation, I knew that I couldn't really start it if I think I didn't have. That might sound crazy. I don't know if I felt comfortable starting Switchboard if I didn't have your blessing, on doing that. And so the way that you kind of supported us and encouraged us was really, really sweet. And I want to do more of that.
Keep it going, right? Yeah, absolutely. And I see you doing that. I see all of you doing that. It is beautiful.
Well, sweet.
The word that I remember saying to you, not even a phrase, but I said, absolutely. It's a big pie, and there's lots of opportunity. Still is. And it's fun to watch the evolution for sure.
And then what was the next question? Do you remember the next question?
I don't.
So I said, I asked you, do you think there's room in St. Cloud? And then you said absolutely, or some version of an affirmative response. And then I said, but what if it was me? Like, what if?
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Yeah, because you and I were just eating lunch, and you were really kind and really, really gracious as we were thinking about that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I had forgotten that, but that doesn't mean that it hadn't ever come to mind before. Mm-hmm. What was my... So you're remembering how I responded. Mm-hmm. What was my response to that? Because frankly, I'm trying to come up with it.
You were
just the general nature of...
you were super supportive and
go
super
for
kind.
It. Yeah.
At the time, I guess we haven't said, but at the time you were running, what would have been a competitive business, but we were friends, and just the fact that you didn't see me as like a competitor, was really, really sweet and really, really kind.
Totally the opposite of that. It was like, what an honor, It was just an honor to be asked. For my opinion, of course, because who doesn't love sharing their opinion on stuff in general? But then from you, and having watched you shoot at Northwestern and your evolution, I was touched by that. It was really cool.
Well, sweet. Young creatives, listen quickly to two guys that have been in the game now a little while. You should talk. You should have friends that do the same thing as you. You should ask people who've been in the game a little bit longer than you for help. Because, you even alluded to it before, but just like being asked is really neat. In general, like I love getting asked, and it doesn't mean you can always help, but there is something sweet about kind of trying to do that with young creatives. And so I'm thankful that you modeled that thing with me almost a decade ago, and we're trying to do more of the same.
And forming those relationships within AdFed and your competition, everybody sharpens everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's more fun that way.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't be an island.
No.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, the rising tide floats all ships.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was not planning on saying this today, and I guess it always can get cut, but one of the unique things is like when I came to St. Cloud and I started to shoot, as a commercial photographer, there were other commercial photographers in town who didn't really want me here. It was just like, which was like a hard and weird kind of thing. I just was a young guy kind of trying to, provide for a family and, and do a thing that I loved. And it's a unique thing now being 15 plus years into my career as a photographer. And now I see there are young photographers, when I see young photographers, it's a different kind of thing. It's like, will my response be to them what I received, or could I give something different in a response? Because again, I think there is enough work, and it's so weird. I was not planning on saying any of that, but just having received not really a warm welcome, which I understand, but now when you see people that are like coming up behind you, how do you respond to them, and how do you encourage them? And
and the mentoring that you're doing, even in this room right now, and the programs that you've instituted here, that's just phenomenal.
Well, that's sweet. Yeah, it's really, really good work to be a part of, and Lord willing, we'll get to be a part of that work for a long, long time. Okay, Ron, what do you think? What are you excited about? What's coming in St. Cloud, to St. Cloud, that you're just kind of excited about? What have you seen kind of happening that kind of encourages you?
I thought a little bit about community and what's special about the community. Mm-hmm. And then I thought I could say a number of generic glowing things. But one of the things I love about St. Cloud is actually a specific park, and that would be the quarries.
Really?
Yeah.
I love the quarries too.
Just
what do you
for
love?
all year long. Skiing in the winter, occasional running, not as much as I used to do,
Sure.
but that, swimming in the past,
Yeah.
not as much in recent years. But it's just this year-round great place that feels like you're in the Rockies.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. And I love the investment that the Stearns County is doing there. And
Yeah.
it's a beautiful place. And then over the years, I've got a lot of family memories there. So as we flip through Apple photos and look back at those things, my iPhone will
The fun little reminders.
bring up the memories. Yeah. So much has happened there. And that's awesome. I love that place.
Yeah.
So that's a concrete answer to
An existential question.
yes. Yeah.
Have
Which
you
I'm
ever-
not sure I have an answer for.
Have you ever jumped off of the big high jump at the quarry? Is that a thing that you'll?
I've wished I
participate in?
could be that person, but I'm not.
All right.
So no, I haven't. How about you?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up as a kid here, and
That's
so
true.
You as a kid, you're doing all kinds of crazy things.
It's a rite of passage.
Oh yeah. And then here's a crazy thing. I jumped forever, and then one time I dove, which is it's not kids. Don't do it. Don't dive into quarries. Don't
This is
do
what
it.
happened to you.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It's dangerous. Don't do it. Do it. It's really fun. Don't do it. Don't do it. But I dove one time, and I've never jumped since. Like I just dive now because the rush is so great. Yeah. But the very first time that I did it, I dove into the quarry. This is going to be gross. It's full disclosure. Little warning. Bloop, bloop, bloop. The whatever earwax I had in my ears compressed.
Not where I thought you were going.
I came out of the water and couldn't hear. Like, because all of the earwax
Sure.
had compressed in there. And, like, I actually couldn't hear. Like, everything, it felt like it sounded like I had big headphones on. Like, everything was super, super muffled.
This is legit gross.
Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. This podcast is new. We're still figuring out what it's going to be, but gross might be one of those things. It's not going to be.
It's not a poop story. But
No. But I had to go to the doctor and get my ears like flushed out, and I had like earplugs that came out of wax. That's gross.
Well,
Which-
you didn't need
what?
you didn't need the ear candling. You just
Yep.
dove.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, so on that unbelievable note, which I'm not exactly sure how we got there, other than Quarry Park is wonderful.
I tried to bring us there for the beauty.
Yeah, it's
we
good.
ended with earwax.
Yep. Speaking of earwax,
There's a slogan for the park. Come for the beauty, stay for the earwax plugs.
we're figuring this out.
Yeah.
But all right, our third course for our coffee flight, we have a blended decaf mocha. And the reason we're going decaf is because it's the afternoon and I am 38 now and the caffeine is rough on me. So we're going a decaf blended mocha. Little cheers here. And this is the same. This is the espresso, and this is the Columbia. Real tasty.
Okay.
Isn't that great? Dessert.
It really
you know,
is.
like you don't want to drink a lot.
And I'm not just saying it. It really is.
Yeah. You don't want to drink like maybe a lot of them. There's
Yeah.
sugar and whatnot, but it is so tasty.
So I'm kind of a hoarder at heart.
Really?
Yeah. So
Like, actually?
what happened to the ones that Taylor took away? Do they live somewhere?
They are.
Because
You want them
I'd
back.
like to be reunited someday.
Taylor, let's. This is a first ever. Could we actually get the first?
Oh, you did
There we
save.
go. Go ahead.
Okay. I want all the things.
That's great. Taylor, I mean, could I have mine too? I think. This is a first. Podcast first here, Ron.
Yeah.
Wow, Taylor, thank you so much.
You can be a hoarder at heart with me.
And then, do you ever do anything like this, where you kind of like, you start here,
Well, we're trying.
and then you come over here?
The third one, I'm having honestly a hard time with the
The
third
fact
one.
that I got some and didn't wear it is, I don't know, pretty impressive.
It's kind of like, okay, now do that again.
Yep.
Okay, what time is it?
Yeah. Want to go here? Yeah, it's about.
And that's when it all
it's
went
4:30.
south.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
You're
playing
good.
playing with fire here.
You're
Ron.
good. You got skills, dude.
Okay, so Ron, now that we have all of our drinks in front of us, we have our little appetizer, our entree, and our dessert all in one.
Are we voting?
Voting on. Oh,
Is that? I don't know where you were going,
I wasn't. Okay.
but it felt like it was going to be a vote.
Again, this is episode 7. This is episode Evan. This is. So yeah, this is episode 7, kind of firsts here. We've never had all 3 of the drinks in front of us.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, this may be a thing. Is anybody taking notes? Maybe we vote here. How about this? Let's just on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, we'll grab the one that we like the most, and we slide it forward. Okay.
I like it.
All right. So I got to think about it really quick. Which one? The problem is, they're all great for different reasons.
Exactly.
But we have
to vote.
Yeah, we have
right?
to do it.
Yep.
Using whatever metric you so choose, which of these is your favorite? 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Yeah.
Because chocolate.
Because chocolate. Yeah. All right, good. All right. And which of these do you like the least? 1, 2, 3, go. No, you can't do it.
It's
you
not
won't
happening.
do it.
No, in fact, I was going to do this. Pull them all back and say mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
No.
Yeah,
Like you said, different.
coffee for different times.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, a comment on this.
Yeah.
It's freshly blended, so I go like this. I have a hard time getting the liquidy part to come back without sloshing all over my face.
Sure.
Is there a secret to that?
When I'm drinking a blended thing, I like to give a little bit of a spin before
Okay.
I drink it.
Okay.
I think that there's actually a Newton's law of physics in that thing. Objects in motion stay in motion. I think. Guess what? This can absolutely be corrected on the thing. But I think if you get it all moving, right? Like if everything is just completely still,
It helped.
and then
It
you
worked
go
for me
to
just
you,
now.
you go to tip it. There's like the capillary action of everything holding on to like the wall and stuff, and it's holding, and then it gives way.
Capillary action.
Yeah. But if you give it a little bit of spin, right? You're kind of like mixing a little bit because it's constantly melting, right? Like part of it is melting and part of it isn't. So you're kind of giving it a little bit of mix, but you're also just getting everything moving. So that when you bring it up, it kind of naturally comes. Not a science podcast, folks. Not a science podcast. What do you think? Did it work?
Good. It did. Wow. Yeah. I'm fully trained now.
Is this
I could do this on my own now, maybe next time.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, without the training.
Great.
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's a teach a man to fish kind of thing. That's really what that is. Should this be a science podcast?
No.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
Well, great. Ron, you're a little further in your career than I am. We've already referenced and mentioned that you were helpful to me in how I kind of approached this community and how I approached the creative industry. But for people that are kind of coming up, maybe they're just kind of getting done with school right now and they're thinking about heading into the workplace.
What recommendations do I have for them?
Yeah, how would you
So
encourage
I remember a young photographer that would come do the shoots at the Addy Awards. Mm-hmm. And he wore a trench coat. And everybody was wondering,
what
what's
on earth?
What's going on? What's under the trench coat? And but it was a way to get noticed, wasn't it? That happened.
It did happen.
I did not bring the picture today, but I do have it. So just remember that the photos live forever. that's my advice for young people
Is where
coming up. Wear a trench coat, but then recognize that the photos live on forever.
There was a theme to the Addy Awards that year.
There's an explanation.
Yeah, there was a theme, and the theme was like private eye, like it was like a
You're right.
like
yeah.
espionage kind of
Yes.
thing, and so yeah, it was loosely based on a
Seeking out that elusive award,
right
something like that.
something like that, and so that's why
Yeah.
why the trench coat happened.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay. Thanks for that great little reminder there. That
Yeah.
Other than showing up to an Addy Awards or an award show of any kind, where everyone is kind of dressed up and you're wearing a pair of shorts, Chuck Taylors, and a big long trench coat. Other than that, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's kind of just starting out, whether in the creative industry or any industry?
Ask for help. Do what you did. Look to others. Team up. Be a lifelong learner, and that will serve you well throughout your career. Yeah, that's probably the best
Sweet.
advice I could come up with. And keep it succinct.
I'm still working on the keep it succinct thing. That will be a lifelong for a dude who's kissed the Blarney Stone and has received the gift of gab. This is a lifelong lesson that I'll need to keep working on.
There you go.
Speaking of learning, what are you still learning? What are you still working on?
So I dabble in photography with my iPhone. And I say dabble because that's exactly what I'm doing. So check out my Insta.
Great. This is a first. What's the plug? Right? We haven't had this yet, have we?
Oh, shameless plug then. No,
Let's hear it.
I'm really not a self-promoter.
But what is
I'm
it?
Norwegian. I'm Scandinavian. So
Okay.
it's the opposite of self-promotion. But at Ron Almer, that's my dad's first name, Almer. So,
Sweet.
yeah.
And what kinds of things do you like to take pictures of?
So landscape, outside stuff. So a favorite bike trail of ours is we start in Bolus, my wife and I, and we'll ride to either Holdingford and back or Bolus to Highway 10 and back. Beautiful trail. It's the Sioux Line Spur that goes northwest from the Wobegon Trail. Just gorgeous all year long.
Yeah.
But we try to get out there in the spring and see the fern. What do you call that budding fern? It looks like a violin shape.
Yeah. I don't know.
They're out there, lady slippers. So capturing some of that's a lot of fun
Yeah,
for
sweet.
us. Yeah.
Wonderful. And when you ride to Bolus, what's the name of the little like restaurant cafe?
Jordy's Trailside
Yeah.
Cafe. They deserve a plug too. Mom and daughter operation.
Yeah.
Beautiful people.
Great sandwich.
Yes.
Great sandwich. A fun stop on a bike trip.
Yep.
I love stopping.
Eat
there.
inside or out
Beautiful,
in the garden.
fun little patio garden.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
And that's actually kind of a fun thing. I mean, like, have you always been a biker, or is it something that you have picked up, recently? Because I see you often with your, on your bike, with your bike at the Y. We run into each other at the Y. You're doing spin class. You're an avid biker. And how long has that been for you?
That's true. So I was an avid runner for a long time. And then that turned into avid biking.
Sure.
And so love starting out in St. Joe, going past Milk and Honey, the backside of St. John's, over the freeway on the pedestrian overpass. That route is a favorite. What was the question?
How long have you been biking and enjoying that?
Oh, that's probably a good 10 years.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you ever got into mountain biking?
For real mountain biking, no. But hit some of the beginner/intermediate trails.
Yeah.
At my age, I don't want to go out there and bust my head open.
OTB.
Yeah. Yeah.
Over the bars. No good.
Great. Yeah. No OTB on MTB.
What is? Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's good.
See how I stitched those acronyms together?
That's so good.
Beautifully.
Yeah, as spring is upon us here, I am eager. I'm so excited to get back outside and ride in and be on my bike again.
Yeah. We'll have to do that
I can't wait. Looking forward to it.
and get one of these afterwards.
That's great. Wonderful. All right, so Ron, we've reached the part of our show for our unpaid advertisement. Who or what would you like to shout out today?
A beautiful organization about a half mile north of us here. Veterans Resource and Enrichment Center.
And what do they do?
They serve veterans from every branch of service. Reintegration, therapies of all kinds, and just beautiful people, beautiful organization, and I loved what they do. I just found out about them. We were working on their brochure maybe 3 months ago.
Nice.
Got a tour. They just deserve some acknowledgement for what they're doing over there.
Cool.
And I think largely unknown. I want to say they started about 5 years ago.
Well, happy that they got a little plug here today.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah, of course. And my unpaid ad today is for similar note and different is for the hamburger at the VFW. Don't spit.
No, that's awesome.
Hear me when I say this. The very best hamburger in St. Cloud, Minnesota is at the VFW on Division. No lie. It's a hand-pressed patty. It's a hand-pressed patty. You could show, like in the comments, if there are other places in town that do a hand-pressed patty, I'd love to see it. But so many of them are just frozen pucks that are coming off of a truck. This is a hand-pressed patty over at the VFW. Ask for Amy, the server.
What's the address?
No clue. But Google says that it's on Division, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I had to call. You don't have to be a veteran to go to the VFW. That's the thing I learned.
Well, we're going to do that then.
It's great for a hand-pressed patty. No bun. And
Ask for who?
Amy. She's
For Amy.
just wonderful. Just a great server.
That's awesome.
She remembers our order. It's great. So check out the VFW and their hand-pressed patty. Well, Ron, thanks for coming on the podcast. It's been sweet to sit and talk with you. I am thankful for you. I'm thankful for the, 25-ish plus years that you and I have been friends and in relationship. And thanks for being supportive of Switchboard as we were getting going. And that kind of example of being ecumenical and gracious in your response to me, I think helped put me on a trajectory to hopefully try to do that same kind of thing. So it's what I aspire to every day. And so I owe a lot of that to you, and I'm really, really thankful just for the role that you've played in my life. And I appreciate you very, very much.
Well, it's been a joy.
Sweet.
And here's to more.
Here's to more. Well, thanks, Ron. Great to have you on.